In this video, I'd like to talk about why you need not pay more for a B650 motherboard. But there is a condition to this argument. It is that we are specifically talking about ITX motherboards, which are already pretty expensive. I am mainly talking about these two motherboards here. One is Asrock A620i ITX motherboard. The other is Asrock B650i ITX motherboard. These have about $50 to $70 difference between them. In Canada, where I live, there is about $80 difference. Naturally, I had to ask, is the B650 worth the extra? Spoiler alert, no, it's not worth the extra. First of all, let's talk about the chipset difference itself. AMD lists the differences nicely on their webpage, but the main talking points are what you are seeing on the screen. Compare the two chipsets on the bottom, namely A620 and B650. The one in the middle is B650i. The only significant feature A620 is missing is the ability to overclock the CPU. And here is the thing. CPU overclocking is, in my humble opinion, dead. The majority of modern CPU released in the past 5 years are already at their maximum potential with aggressive turbo boost. In fact, nowadays I try to downclock or downvolt my CPU. If I am using an AMD system, I turn off PBO. If it's Intel, I set my PL1 lower than the normal value or I use a tCPU. I will talk about tCPU in another video. Anyway, a 620 chipset is quote-unquote budget-friendly chipset found on motherboards. Likewise, B650 is a step above and is better technically. In reality, however, I don't feel the price difference between A620 and B650 is worth the extra. Let's take a look at the motherboards itself. Because of the physical limitation of ITX motherboards, even if B650 chipset is superior, its advantages are almost ignored or not even implemented. B650 does have a few more features, such as PCIe 5 for GPU and the primary M.2 slot, and it allows 2 more USB ports in the back. However, for this specific Asrock B650 board, PCI Express version 5 for the main PCI Express slot isn't even implemented. It's version 4. These even have the same power delivery configuration. In other words, you are paying so much extra for, what? A few more USB ports and a PCIe version 5 M.2 slot. So, this begs the question, is it worth the extra? If it's just few tens of bucks, yes, probably. However, when the difference reaches almost 3 digits, then the answer is no. It's worthwhile to note that A620 chipset can only support 65 watt TDP CPU technically. However, if you've been watching my build videos, I've been pairing the A620 motherboard with Ryzen 7600X, and it has been running just fine. I suppose it may not be able to run something like Ryzen 7900X or 7950X, but those CPUs cost over $600 and $700 respectively. When you purchase top-of-the-line CPU, you are probably going to buy a good motherboard anyway. Therefore, in conclusion, whatever advantage the B650 ITX motherboard has, at least in Asrock's case, it's not worth the extra. Higher-end chipsets do make sense when there is more real estate to a motherboard to utilize such features, and that you mean to use those extra features. You wouldn't be looking at ITX motherboards in such a case anyway. This video is specifically for those who want to use an ITX motherboard and are on a budget. The bottom line here is that A620 board does almost everything B650 can do, so why pay so much more? Thank you for watching.